Alright, Shalom. It's GMS Atlanta. Alright, with another edition. Alright, we want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh Shemal Shah, double honors to the elders at GMS, and the Shalom to Akim. Alright, the lesson we're going into today is the Rfid, a major controversial topic amongst brothers and brothers in Israel. So we're just gonna break it down, according to the scriptures, certain stuff like that, to prove that the Rfid chip is the mark of the beast, assumed in Revelation 13. All right, we can start off with Revelation 13. Whoever got it. Somebody gonna bring it up?
13. This is our Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and he calls all.
Read 2 verses up.
Come. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Let's go one more verse up.
Come. Verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
And that's talking about the white man. All right. It says he doeth great wonders and making fire come down from heaven. Keep going.
So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Keep going. And
deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Right, which we was always we went with the elders always broke down. The beast represents the EU and the NATO. All right, like it tells you in Daniel's, and also linking it up with Revelation, with 7 heads and 10 horns. The European Union and the NATO allies, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. All right, keep going. Read that over.
Come. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Right, and the wound was representing when the Roman Empire fell, starting off with Severus Septimius and other generals, major people that overtook the Roman Empire. All right, and they came back in power during the Renaissance Empire, which Renaissance means rebirth. Re means back, and the Renaissance, if I'm not mistaken, means the rise of the birth. So the rebirth of the so-called white man through the Roman Empire. All right, because that's what we in now. We in a modern day extension of the Roman Empire. The white man keeps the same customs as the Roman Empire did back then. All right, you got the court system, legislation, executive, judicial branch, same thing they had back then. All right, you got democracy, the voting, same thing that was occurring back during the Roman time. Keep going.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Keep going.
And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor.
It says, and he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor. Keep going.
Free and bond.
And this is a prophecy that hasn't occurred yet. All right, free and bond. Keep going.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
It says to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads, which represents the RFID chip, and we can prove it by going into these different definitions. Y'all brothers got the what's that one? You got the definition of mark. All right, because to really understand the scriptures, you have to go into the origin of these words, man. Mark is all throughout the scriptures, but that doesn't mean mark means the same thing in each and every verse or each and every chapter of these scriptures. All right, there's different definitions. All right, and when they define it, it's totally different. All right, this word mark, the brother's gonna bring out.
All right, cut. This is the word for mark in Revelation 13 and 16. The word there in the Greek is charagma. All right, and the definition means stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand.
Yeah, you see that mark stamped on the right hand of the forehead, just like it said in Revelations. Keep going.
Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark burning upon horses, a theme carved sculpture graven work.
You see that thing, carved sculpture or graven work, and what is that? That's the RFID chip. Because now that's a major technological device that's big in the media now, or big in the world now. All right, when you follow the the RFID chip or the very chip, they're stamping everything, man. Get implanted in the dogs, cats, all right, cattle, everything. But now what they're gonna start doing is putting it in the humans, and we're gonna prove that through documents and all kind of stuff. It's still more to that definition.
Yeah, I got the root for the word charagma. Right now, I don't know if the brother can get it. If you can get it, this is the RFID chip. Okay, and this and if you pay attention to how it looks like a steak or like like a steak that you drive into the ground, right? So when you look up the root for the word charagma, the root for that word is charax. All right, and the definition is a pale or stake, a palisade or rampart. And it says from origin carasso, to sharpen to a point, through the idea of scratching. Right, so when you actually insert the chip into your hand, all right, they use a syringe, a hollow syringe that has the chip in it, and when they have to scratch into your hand or etch or carve into your hand to insert that little stake, that little RFID chip into your hand. All right, and that's how they're going to implement it.
Right, which is the mark of the beast, according to Revelation. That's all you had.
Yeah, kind.
Yeah. So, so with that being said, how could you insert Christianity in your right hand?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How could you insert an embargo in your right hand?
I got a precept.
All right, it makes absolutely no sense. It's ridiculous.
Did you have a precept? Well, I just bring this quick document I want to bring out. There we go. Spirit go. But it's going to the RFID chip. It's on nationalreport.net. RFID in Wyoming as part of new Obamacare plan. All right, it dated was about a year ago, but it said RFID chip now being issued in Hannah, Wyoming as part of new Obamacare plan. All right, the Obamacare RFID chips are currently being given a test run on the proud and patriotic citizens of Hannah, Wyoming. Over the last 2 weeks, a special piece of legislation has been passed making it mandatory for anyone who receives welfare or any other form of government assistance to be implanted with these new identification chips. All right, and doesn't that just say that? It said it's going to be mandatory. All right, and that's what the time we're living in now. The scripture say he caused it. He caused of all, the white man is going to cause certain people, small or great, rich and poor, to receive that mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Linking perfectly in sync. Alright? I'll read it over. Over the last 2 weeks, a special piece of legislation has been passed making it mandatory for anyone who receives welfare or any other form of government assistance to be implanted with these new identification chips. Even select government employees and officials have been ordered to receive the subdermal device. Is that not great? It said small and great. It said government employees and officials from the top to the bottom. All right, everybody's going to have an RFID chip inserted in them to be citizens of the United States and to roll with this whole new world order, man. Okay. It says, which is typically implanted in the fatty tissue of the individual's buttocks. But you also have documents where they was implanted in their right hand. They implanted on different parts of the body, and they also implanted the forehead. But the main 2 parts was the right hand or the forehead, all right? And they have even a family that received the mark of the beast. If you remember the name, I forget it. The Jacobs family, all right? Their whole family took the RFID chips, all right?
You know, it was like 04.
04?
Yeah, in that time period.
Police officers, military, even garbage men, that's that small, great, rich and poor. Men will all be required to have the RFID chip by the end of next month or face termination from their jobs. Now that's not saying that it necessarily occurred and it was that mandatory during that time period, but how Esau moves, he'll slow certain stuff up.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
And eventually he gonna mandate it, man. It's already in Obamacare, which we're gonna bring that out also. Through Esau's legislations and his documents, they want the RFID chip implanted in the U.S. citizens, all of them. All right. Let's see if it's a little bit more to it. During the beta testing stage of this amazing technological development, many new outlets have remained silent, apparently waiting to see how the trial pans out before reporting on the subject. And that's how Esau do, man. He always does these experiments and tries to do these test runs before he pushes it out greatly. All right, that's what they're doing state to state, city to city. They'll push it out on these people, and they'll see how these people react. Because Esau works through what is it? Problem, reaction, solution. All right, but it's going to be a major problem that occurs in America, like the Ebola, all right, or a major terrorist attack, where the citizens, start bugging out, and they're going to start having to pass these chips out, man. They have to be in concentration camps, and they're going to tell them, hey, you have to receive the RFID chip, and we have to insert the RFID chip in you for you to be an American citizen. All right, if not, then you're showing that you are a terrorist, and we have the complete authority to behead you, all right, or torture you. All right, that's all through Esau's legislation. All right. National Report, always on the cutting edge, sent me on location to Hannah, Wyoming, to speak with some of the townsfolk and gather opinions and experiences regarding their newly acquired RFID chips. Tammy Josephine Lawrence, a single mother of 3 who is currently accepting housing assistance, got her chip implanted just hours before we had a chance to sit down and speak with her. See, this is the person that received the mark of the beast, man, which is the RFID, the very chip. She had the following to say: well, they said I better do this or they was gonna cut off the welfare. I'm a full-time single mother. I got 3 young kids that need me at all hours, and ain't no man to help. I didn't have no choice. And that's what's gonna occur with most of these proud citizens. They're even gonna threaten them to, hey, we won't support you. We won't give you no more government assistance. All right, we won't give you anything. We won't, you won't be able to buy from the local food, like it says, buy or sell. You won't be able to sell or trade or do anything unless you have this RFID chip.
Right.
And with trading, really, they're gonna cut the middleman out, man. That's another reason why the white man wants this chip implanted. There ain't gonna be no low time trading and doing certain stuff like that. Everything that these citizens have to do, they're gonna have to go through the white man in order to do it. Everything's gonna be documented and recorded, man.
No under the table pay no more, none of that.
Yeah, none of that. But you said you had something to say. That was the main point of it.
Yeah, I got a scripture real quick. This is of the book of Isaiah 36:6. It says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt. Right now, a reed is a plant, right? And when you read the history about forefather Jacob, he used the reed to basically designate what cattle would be his and what cattle would be Laban's or Laban, right? And the reed is a type of plant, like I said, it's hollow. It's like a water plant, right? But the scripture here in Isaiah 36 says the staff of Egypt is like a broken reed. Okay, now when you look at a needle, all right, like the needle of a syringe, it looks like a broken reed. Okay, and inside that syringe, like I mentioned earlier, that's where they're going to insert the actual chip. Okay, so it says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. All right, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Because right now, the modern day pharaohs are really the elites: the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Lees, all the different banking families. Okay, and the face of the elite right now is Obama. And through his Obamacare, that's how they're going to implement that chip. All right, and that's how they're going to get people to take it, mainly through, like the brother mentioned, about the Ebola virus, that outbreaking amongst the people. The different families that's gonna come to this society.
Terrorist, right? major terrorist
terrorist attacks, things like that. Okay, so the scripture is telling you, you trust upon Egypt, which is America now. All right, they're gonna start. They're gonna actually have you receive this chip. Okay. Now I got an article to back everything up that we've been saying, and this is recent. Okay, this is from the International Business Times, and it says implantable technologies will soon be inside your body, and this is from October 19th. All right. And it has like a different list of the type of technologies that they want to implant inside your body. So this is a real so-called movement that the elites are trying to push upon the people. All right, and I'm gonna read some of it. It says, after the latest frenzy over wearable technology, like the Apple Watch dies down, because like Apple, they put something recently called Apple Pay, where you can now pay for things straight through your different Apple phones or your Apple tablet or whatever. Same thing with Samsung. Samsung got wearable technology. They got the watches, right? So it says, after the latest frenzy over wearable technology like the Apple Watch dies down, techies forecast that technology will soon be moving from outside to inside our bodies. It says Yahoo News, right, which Yahoo is a major news outlet. It says Yahoo News has mapped out emerging signs of implantable technology. It says implantable smartphones. While some researchers are testing embedded sensors that can transform human bone into speakers, others are working on eye implants that would allow images seen by the human eye to be channeled onto local storage devices like Google Glass, which you can, through Wi-Fi, the internet, you can see different images on that that eyewear that Google Glass has. It says researchers are also working on displaying images through artificial skin to complement an implantable smartphone. Right? Now, if y'all have watched that movie, it came out a couple years ago. It was a remake, if I can think of the movie. But basically, the guy in the movie, he had a phone in his hand, and he had to use the glass to cut it open. I can't think of the movie right now. But basically, he had a phone in his hand because he got a phone call, and he put his hand to his ear. Right? And then he had put his hand on the glass and all the information popped up. So that's technology that they're actually working on. Okay?
Right. And that they actually have, they just have it, and they still, still working on it, and they're gonna push it out. All right, they're probably developing it and doing more tweaks. So when they push it out to the, citizens, it can arouse the citizen. They're gonna, take it. Because in order to really deceive these tribes and majority of these citizens, you just gotta make it arousing, man. All right, you got the new, what is that? The iPhone 6. The new technology, which I think, brothers are doing, is basically the same damn thing as the previous one, but you can do your finger recognition and all that madness. But the purpose of all that is just to, go more and more into, tracking these people, man. All right, when you have a finger recognition, that's tracking. Eye recognition, that's part of you being tracked in Esau's database.
Biometrics.
Yeah, the biometrics. All right, and then eventually they're just gonna insert it in you to become mandatory. All right, yeah.
Yeah, it says researchers are also working on displaying images through artificial skin to complement an implantable smartphone. All right, so that's technology they're working on.
Okay.
It says last year, artist Anthony Antonelli's got an RFID chip implanted in his arm that could store. It says that could store information and art through his smartphone. All right. It says that could store and transfer art to his smartphone. All right. So that's just another way for the chip to look cool, to look hip now. Because now you can do stuff with your phone, But now they have it to where the chip can interact with your phone. Okay. And another thing they're working on is healing chips. Right. Healing chips. It says currently several patients are using cyber implants that monitor diseases by being directly connected with smartphone apps.